Hello, and welcome to each and every single one of you. I know that some of you have not played this game as of yet for personal reasons, and with that in mind, I have limited my review by showing portions within the first 4 chapters, so minor spoilers ahead. I want to thank you in advance for joining me, and hope that you enjoy this video. And without further ado, let us begin. Created by a masterful congregation of various art forms and released in 1997, the 7th installment in the Final Fantasy series is one of video gaming's most venerated titles since the inception of the entertainment platform. With a tasteful integration of full-motion video, innovative 3-dimensional models, a timeless soundtrack, an intricate storyline, and an unforgettable cast of characters, gamers simply could not get enough of its universe, inevitably going beyond the boundaries of the controller. However, decades have elapsed, and with the unceasing leaps in our technological progress, players have been begging to bring this classic game to our modern era. But to undertake such a monumental assignment is to be cognizant of the global pressure and responsibility charged upon your shoulders. And on April 10th, 2020, as countless fears and doubts, hopes and dreams rested over a perilous balance, the embers of the past were fiercely and successfully reignited. Having completed the voyage in its entirety, I confess myself overwhelmed by the occurrences in this iteration. At nearly every turn, I constantly paused my journey's progression so that I could mentally process the sheer abundance of enchantments continuously thrown at me. While the core essence remains largely faithful to its 32-bit humble beginnings, what's been done here is more aptly described as a thoughtfully guided hand, incrementally taking you deeper into the realm of immersion. I question whether this game was the same at all. But as the scenes that are still so vivid in my recollection played out, such as the elevator sequence where we are provided with story exposition and character motivations, to then being reunited with an old, jittery and clunking moving foe, I was instantly reminded that it is. And by incorporating voice actors, facial motion capture, smart dialogue amongst many other elements, players are far more engaged at this refreshing vision once unachievable. Despite the praises the game rightfully deserves, it is not without its flaws, which brings me to its combat. The series as a whole have hardly deviated from their timed turn-based formula, forcing players to wait for a meter to fill in order to either attack, use an item, or cast magic. Since you are forced to wait until taking action again, it is up to the player to analyze the situation and make the best decision in order to bring an end to the encounter. Take enough damage and your limit meter blinks, allowing you to unleash your most devastating attack. But what's unique to this game is its mechanic, which are these colorful spheres called materia, each providing a different effect when equipped, such as elemental spells, buffs, or debuffs. Much of what made the predecessor so successful is transferred over. Rather than being stationary, you can now move freely around the battlefield, switching from one character to another, giving you a chance to not only better position yourself, but break away from the enemy's focus. The game's tutorials solidly explain new mechanics such as the pressure meter, and which character abilities quickens this condition to the stagger state. And what makes a boss encounter so engaging are the multiple phases, bringing new abilities to the fight that compels you to approach it differently. Unfortunately, my main issue with the combat is the camera. Switching between target and free viewing mode needed to be more refined, and if the fighting space is too confined, viewing your surroundings becomes a problem. Thankfully, not deterred from the overall experience. The biggest difference to both games comes after the explosion of the Mako reactor. In the 1997 version, you only get a handful of images of Sector 8, barely a glimpse of this side of Midgard before you have to make your escape via the train. Now, to be fair, the hardware capabilities limited what developers could accomplish. In today's version, in addition to the exquisite graphical engine and lighting software evidently displayed, new crucial elements are added for the retelling. By letting us explore its streets, we witness the consequences that our actions have upon the traumatized citizens, which is disheartening to see. Moreover, Prosperity overflows at every corner of this industrialized, still developing district, an image hauntingly similar to our very own, a sort of reflection of where the rich and powerful sleep and rule, a place that seemingly knows no suffering. And similar to our previous segment, the retro Sector 7 slums is limited to a handful of images. Charmful, to be sure, but it serves best as a crude blueprint for our imagination to expand upon. Now, the instant you disembark the train, where I feel is the true starting point to our adventure, Splendor's first veil is unequivocally unveiled. When I saw Midgar's gargantuan size, I was utterly ensorcelled by its mesmeric majesty, and greeted by a graceful arrangement of the main theme, I eagerly began my exploration of the place our heroes call home, and by the end was amazed by a profound, heartfelt revelation initially glimpsed over at the plate above. As I navigated through the slums, studying the several structures composed of wood beams, bricks, cardboard, and rusting metals amongst many other scrapped items, it is the population itself that drew my foremost attention. By listening to their conversations, overhearing their troubles and whispered rumors, observing their very human-like characteristics, their bonding, their daily hardships, obliging some to do unsavory tasks for the sake of survival, not only did I get a broader picture of the spirited community and their way of life, but I genuinely felt the sentimental link implemented by the souls that put it there in the first place, and reaching out to my very own. Suffice it to say, every bit of detail, ranging from the largest to the tiniest, is reflexive of the dedication of the passionate mind, a true testament of what can be achieved when pouring all of one's wonderful talent so that others may bask in the fruits of their labor. And finally, the most crucial aspect in all of storytelling is character development. While being one of the main characters, we get but a basic depiction of love between Barrett and his daughter. Now, happy to have survived a dangerous mission that could have been his last, he breaks into a full sprint, eagerly calling out to her. And when he's happily reunited with his adorable little angel, we see a dramatic change in his persona. Instead of seeing that tall, hulking, tough guy we've been accustomed to so far, we see a much softer, vulnerable side to him, the father speaking to his little baby girl. Even more criminally lacking are the other members of Avalanche. We hardly know anything about Biggs, Wedge, or Jesse. Mr. Bossypants, Biggs, drinks in celebration, persuading you to get sloshed to then possibly go out streaking in the slums. Wedge engorges himself like there's no tomorrow, eating up all of his emotions and plumping up before your very own eyes. And Jesse, well, provides constructive criticism? All pleasantries aside, it is gratifying to witness the care and attention given to the trio. By accompanying them, we get a clearer sense of their strong camaraderie while taking a gander behind the curtain of their own individuality. We even stumble upon a touching moment of tragedy lived by one yet felt by the rest, authentically understanding the burning desire to change the world they love in hopes for a better and brighter future. And the only facet that flawlessly brings all the elements together in perfect unison is the music. Through and through, its magical and awesome power amplifies our involvement. For the devoted fans of the original, you will not be disappointed with what it has to offer. As for the newcomers, you are in for a genuine treat of the senses. To everyone involved in creating the original and its new iteration, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for all your united efforts in giving the world a timeless universe. For the truth is that Final Fantasy VII Remake is a spellbinding odyssey that begs to be experienced.